Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you again so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic and phenomenal day. Happy Thursday to you. We're going to look here again at Bitcoin, see what's going on. 61K. This is actually very, very good news. We're seeing the CME gap starting, and usually when it starts, it doesn't look back. It's rare for the CME gap to be half filled, at least the first attempt. So I think at this point we might see 62K as a distinct probability. But also we might see the price action pull back here soon too, because again, we have this resistance shelf at about 61.3. That's the previous support level based on the previous highs, right? So previous support can flip, essentially become the new resistance. So just know we may not see the whole thing taken care of there right away, but the simple way to understand it here is that we are forming a situation like that. We also, based on previous patterns here, this being an ABC, most likely, we're likely to see the price action come up and then come back down from here, okay? So again, that's not a guarantee, of course, but we did have our 1 through 5 over here already, and then obviously if we see this being the ABC pattern on the way back down, we have a solid chance of consideration to the downside, okay? So again, that's kind of where we're at there, good stuff. Overall, I guess depends on what side of tracks you're on, and we're gonna go ahead and take a look at liquidation levels here and just kind of verify a few things, okay? So if you're new to the channel, just want to say welcome aboard. Thanks again for being an amazing part of my life. And again, congrats to our community members for some nice profits here. We took some really nice, significant shorts on the way down. Avoided some longs, honestly, because I'm just waiting for a better opportunity for another short. Just feels like we're still moving down. And I'll explain what I mean by that here soon. We'll verify validations and all that. But for the moment, let's quickly recognize and note that we have a solid amount of liquidation down right on 57.7, okay? That's upwards of, as low as 56,000 for this more recent little area. And if we kind of zoom out a little bit, we can see again, 54 to 55K is the next large chunk. So the easy way to understand liquidation is just that it's an area in which the price is more likely to gravitate towards based on, just greed being a very real thing, okay? So again, there's a ton of liquidation to the upside of 65 to 67K, so don't get it twisted. The price can still continue higher, but there's a lot of reasons why it probably shouldn't too, and I'll again explain that here momentarily. But the key takeaway here, I'd say, is that we're seeing a lot of support at 57.7. People feel like that's a bottom essentially, okay? Which seems logical, right? It's concurrent in a lot of ways with local support. We didn't come any lower than 57K previously. And hypothetically, that's double bottom if we hit that 57K mark. So again, just some things got to be mindful of and to think about. But let's look at the daily time frame and kind of recognize a few things here. So the daily time frame is important, just kind of giving us perspective on where we're at. Okay, so we're breaching above the 20-day SMA here so far. The 50 is at 62K. So again, reaffirming 62K as a likely resistance for us. Once again, that is the upper range for the CME gap here. A lot easier to see the CME gap on smaller time frames. As we can see, it's majority the way filled. Again, it goes up to about 61,800. Having said that, though, if we look at the daily time frame, we kind of verify a few things here too. We're still under 50 on the RSI. It's really common for this to be a resistance. Keep in mind, if you look here, look at this resistance level, and if you compare that with the charts, you could see that resistance on the chart at this level here, about 61.3, 61.5 is a round number, okay? So there's a pretty obvious distinct resistance at that 61.5 mark, which is really close to the upper range for the CME gap. So my speculation, we might see a candle wick up to about 62K or 61.8, and then likely pull back from there. We're still under 50 on the RSI. We got to respect the fact that we're still more likely to break down than up. However, a closure above the 20-day SMA today may signify a bit of a shift in momentum. Generally speaking, that's a positive sign to be over the 20. Again, it just kind of lets you know that there's a shift, and it doesn't imply that you just go blindly in that same direction. It just tells us that that's happening. We do have a MACD divergence still forming. It hasn't fully FU'd out, but it's trying. And then stochastic's trying to swing up, but hasn't. So still premature, in my personal opinion, to take a late long, but once again, that's just kind of bird's eye view. We take a look here, of course, at 4-hour time frame. We can recognize that we got a convergence on the horizon. This does carry some weight there, letting us know that the momentum is shifting. Now, that's a very, very common thing to reject, so you want to kind of wait a little bit longer, but that's kind of where we're at there. We can also see 50 on the RSI is being tested right now. Okay, so that's an area of resistance. So more than likely, if it doesn't break, we'll probably see the price pull back or stay in the current range. We can see stochastic swinging up, of course, and money flow index increasing. We look at our moving averages. We got the 200 and the 20 right there at the current price point at 61K. and then right at 61.8, that 50-day SMA again. So we're seeing some consistencies with the SMAs and RSI. The only thing really kind of telling us at this point is our momentous indicators, letting us know the price may be more inclined to continue higher. Again, momentum is a pretty important thing, but there's a lot of things that can kind of factor in too. Like this looks like a pretty obvious overextension to me. We're at a 9+2, so we are basically 11 hours of continuation into this trend. And now again, we broke through this local resistance here to break the actual channel that we're in, right? Because we were stuck in this little range. But now that we've broken the range, the likelihood of the price going up is greater, right? So we got to respect that. And if we do take a look at that and then we combine that with the Ichimoku cloud, we can confirm that we are trying to break bullish. But the good news is lagging span is free and clear and the conversion lines over the baseline. So this is an interesting little situation here. We got the hourly telling us we're fairly well bullish, but majority of other time frames saying bearish. That's standard, honestly, because the hourly is going to take a little while to translate into a 4-hour, etc. Right? It kind of takes a little while to kind of create those candles. At this point, though, based on kind of where we're at, this once again feels kind of like a false positive. We're coming into a lot of resistance based on volume and the CME gap. It's really common to see that happen where the price will effectively reverse itself. Let me quickly note here too, there's not a lot of liquidation outside of 61.5 in the local range here. I mean, there's a really small amount of liquidation at 62.2, so there's a small chance we could see 62,000. But I think overall with what we're seeing here, it would make a lot more sense for the price to progress a little higher and to reject here soon off a lot of those SMAs and or 50 in the RSI. I think a short around 61 to 62K is practical at this point. Again, an invalidation of that would be a candlestick closure at 62,000 or higher, or 61.8 or higher, and we're not there yet. Okay, so again, still a little too early. So if you're going to be uber patient, I would say wait a little bit longer for a short. Me personally, it seems like a logical place to consider averaging your position in between 61, 62, and 63K. All right. Again, a solid closure over 62K today, I think would spell potential for continuation of the upside, and that would invalidate a potential short. Okay? But at this point, this has all the makings of a shift in momentum, a turnaround here. Personally, it just looks like we're going to come back down. Hope that makes sense, and I described that correctly. Thank you again so much for watching. Don't forget to comment below, like the video if you could, please, and help grow the channel in any way, shape, or form. Jump on over to our Discord, Telegram, or Twitter, whatever works best for you. We got a lot of cool features over here. It's a lot of fun. We have a good time. So really cool traders. So thanks again for being an awesome part of my life. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.